Hello plant people, Nora the Leca Queen. Today is a massive day of potting up. We are going to be potting up 5 plants that have been going through the long method of soil to leca transition, and they are now ready to go in leca. They are now ready to go on their poles. So I have here with me my Philodendron Silver Cloud. So that's looking really good. The roots are ready to go. This plant has been living in this nutrient solution for a number of weeks. A lot longer than I would actually recommend, but here we are. And then I've got my Epipremnum Amplissimum, and this is the other one. So I've got 2 of each. I think this is the silver one. It does look a bit silvery and not stripy, but there are its roots there, and that's ready to get potted up as well. So all 3 of these plants are going on a moss pole into leca. And then I also have my Cebu Blue. This is my wide form Cebu Blue. Some of you might remember this plant. It's featured on this channel a number of times and has just never made it into leca. But it's finally going into leca now, going onto a moss pole, and it's going to go on to live a happy life. Last but not least is my Philodendron Majestic that has also been going through the long method. Those are its roots there. Yeah, that seems pretty happy. It's actually given me a new leaf there while it's been living in that nutrient solution. And there's another leaf coming there. So we will get right into it. I'll bring you down. Before we start, I just wanted to show you my gorgeous new potting mat. It is absolutely brilliant. It's got these hard sides and it's got the sides there. So I'm not going to have leca flying everywhere when I'm doing my repotting anymore. This is a lovely waterproof mat that's made by my lovely friends from Debz Designz. And yeah, so all you guys who are living in Australia, please check in the description and there's a link to where you can get this gorgeous potting mat. So I'm just gonna open this up because I now need my moss pole. So I've got my moss pole here, moss poles that I made earlier. And if you haven't seen any of the videos where I show you how to make a moss pole, just click on the link above and that'll take you straight to it. So before we start putting the plant up in leca, we need to attach it to the moss pole. If I turn it around this way, I think that might work better. We'll start with the Majestic, okay? So making sure that this bit of the moss pole that's going to be in the pot is where the roots start, because we don't want our roots to be exposed to the moist moss. And of course, I've got my trusty Velcro plant tie that I will use to secure the plant to the moss pole. So putting the soft part of the Velcro towards the next to the plant, I just attach that there. And because this plant is a bit longer, I'll grab another one and just try and position that plant in a way that the aerial roots will have contact with the moss pole. So that is my Majestic attached to a moss pole. So I'll grab another moss pole and another plant. So I just squeeze that together to make sure that moss does not come out. And then I grab my plants. I've got my silver clouds here. So I've got 3 of them. So this is going to be a fairly bushy pole. So I'll put one there and there's a bigger one. So I'll put the bigger one in the middle and the little ones at the sides. So I'll have that there and that little one. Oh, hang on. There. So I will now grab my Velcro plant tie and get that plant attached to that moss pole. Okay, so that's the bottom attached. I'll put another Velcro plant tie just to make sure that that plant is exactly where I need it to be. And if you can, try not to nip the leaves as you're attaching, if you can. Try to get the stem and not the leaves. That is my silver cloud there. Another moss pole. Just nip that there. I've got my Epipremnum. So that'll go right there at the bottom. That goes at the bottom as well. And you can always sort of turn the plants around to suit how they will sit later. Just position them in the right place for now. That is my Epipremnum Amplissimum. Another moss pole and another Epipremnum plant. So this one's actually already started giving off aerial roots. As you can see there, that's an aerial root there. So that will go there. Oh, almost forgot. That can go there. That is that plant there. Last but not least, the Cebu Blue. So this one has 3 cuttings. So now that I have my plants up on a moss pole, I'm now going to put them in my 14 centimeter ventilated grower's pot that I made. This is a DIY net pot. If you haven't seen how I made these, just click on the link above and that'll take you straight to a video where I show how I make these ones. I will now put those poles up in Leca in my pots. So let's do it. So I've cleaned off my lovely mat and I've got my Leca here, and this Leca has been soaking in Grow Technology Clonex Clone solution for not less than 24 hours. I'll put Leca about 1/3 of the way in this pot. So that's about right, and I'll now grab my plant. So I've got my Cebu Blue here, and I have pinched the mesh at the bottom just to make sure that none of the moss from the top is falling out. But what I will do as well is just sort of fold the mesh over itself here, just to make sure that it's easy for the moss pole to actually sit in the cylindrical pot. So I just do it just a small fold and it ends up looking like that. So it's just folded there, and I will now put that in. So I just shake that a bit, and then that is what goes in my pot. So now that is like that, and all I need to do now is just fill this pot up with the Leca. Making sure to fill the back as well. So that is my Cebu Blue potted up in Leca living on a moss pole. I'll do the same for all the other plants. Okay, that is my silver cloud. I've got my Majestic there. I do need to say though that for some of the moss poles, I've actually put a metal rod at the back just to make it a little bit more sturdy. This is not entirely necessary because I haven't actually put one on my Majestic, but I like to do that because it just works out so much better in terms of stability for the pole. So if you've got a metal rod, I highly encourage you to do that or to get one. But yes, this is all my 5 plants that are now potted and ready to go in their reservoirs, and ready for them to get used to living in Leca, and come the growing season, come spring, they're going to be ready to grow. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.